Okay, so for neoplasia, specifically carcinogens or cancer epidemiology, we'll look at several carcinogens or neoplasia originating from carcinogens. So environmental and hereditary factors can be linked to cancer in this way, and diseases associated with increased risk of developing cancer help to understand the mechanisms by which the tumors may arise, which is pathogenesis. So epidemiologic factors or geographical location also plays an important role. So differences in incidence exist for many cancers based on the location. For example, gastric cancer, like Japanese have about 7 times more than Americans, and for nasopharyngeal carcinoma, China and sub-Saharan Africa has higher rates of it, and these differences are thought to be just environmental. The environmental carcinogens are virtually all around us, whether ambient environment like UV light, smog, this combination of smoke and fog, and also workplace asbestos, vinyl chloride radiation, at home, whether high fat diets, smoked foods, preservatives, radiation, and also infectious agents, for example viruses and others too. So like drugs, even obesity, they are all etiological factors that could lead to cancer, or that's the carcinogenesis. So genetic factors, there's hereditary predisposition, which is demonstrated for many common cancers like autosomal dominant inherited cancers, cancer syndromes, and there are several well-defined cancers in which inheritance of a single AD mutant gene greatly increases the risk of developing a tumor. For example, familial adenomatous polyposis, that's FAP, affects people um, who have numerous polyps of colon, and 100% risk of developing carcinoma by age 50. And with the second being the autosomal recessive syndromes of defective DNA repair, they are conditions which has to do with the DNA repair. Like I said, is due to defects in the DNA repair with resulting genomic instability, and are inherited in an autosomal recessive pattern, and this includes xeroderma pigmentosum, ataxia telangiectasia, Bloom syndrome, and Fanconi anemia. Alright, so for the familial cancers, they show familial clustering with no clear inheritance or transmission pattern, and there is early age of onset of tumor, yeah, and two or more close relatives of index case also develop the same tumor. Siblings of index case have 2 to 3 times increased risk than unrelated individuals, usually multiple and bilateral too. With acquired preneoplastic disorders, they provide a clue to the mechanism of causation of the cancer, which is the pathogenesis, and certain disorders like regenerative, metaplastic, and hyperplastic and dysplastic nature increases cancer risk, and they are fatal for cancer because they involve continuous or rapid cell proliferation. With chronic inflammation and cancer, um, Bekov, Bekov, he postulated something in 1863 that the precise mechanism is not very clear, but the chemical mediators of inflammation are thought to be very, very important when it comes to chronic inflammation and cancer. So chronic H. pylori Helicobacter pylori gastritis could lead to cancer, stomach cancer, and chronic Hep B, Hep C, hepatitis B, hepatitis C could lead to hepatocellular carcinoma, and chronic pancreatitis to lead to um, pancreatic carcinoma. So the etiology of tumors, there's a sequence of intra and extracellular mechanisms, and these are not well known. Genetic mutations or altered gene expression are critical factors in oncogenesis, and these genetic factors interact with environmental factors, and environmental factors involve a tumor formation, which is carcinogens, and these carcinogens are basically agents that induce genetic damage, leading to the formation of malignant tumors. And there are three types: chemical carcinogens, radiant energy, and also oncogenic microbes, whether viruses and bacteria. These may act synergistically. Alright, so for chemical carcinogenesis, there is clearly a multi-step process broadly divided into two phases: initiation and promotion. The initiation results from exposure to a carcinogenic agent, which is the initiator, making the cell capable of giving rise to tumor, and the initiator causes permanent DNA damage. For promotion in chemical carcinogenesis, the promoters induce tumors in initiated cells, and they are not tumoric or tumorigenic by themselves. They are not mutagenic also. So the effects of promoters are not directly on DNA and are reversible, but they render cells susceptible to DNA damage by increasing proliferation. Alright, still on the chemical carcinogenesis, initiator chemicals may be direct acting or indirect acting. Or the direct acting compounds, they do not require chemical transformation for their action. For example, chelating and a silating agent. So indirect acting, not the direct acting like I talked about, they do not require chemical transformation in their action, whether alkylating or silating agents. But indirect acting, which is a probe carcinogens, they require metabolic conversion in vivo to produce ultimate carcinogens. For example, polycyclic and heterocyclic aromatic hydrocarbons too. So chemical carcinogens, many chemical agents become carcinogenic only after conversion in the body of the host to biologically active forms and the parent substance or remote carcinogens. For example, its metabolites or proximate carcinogens. And there's a final molecular species that interacts with the host DNA, which causes the ultimate carcinogen. And most chemical carcinogens are also mutagens. Right, so the remote carcinogen through microsomal hydrolase is being converted to proximate carcinogen, and through other microsomal hydrolases is being converted to the ultimate carcinogen. For example, benzopyrene being converted to benzopyrene epoxide, which is the ultimate carcinogen. Right. So promoter chemicals, these induce proliferative tendencies or proliferation when administered after initiators. For example, phobal esters, hormones like estrogen in liver, breast, and uterine CAs, phenols, drugs, bowel salts in colon cancer, saccharin and cyclamates, artificial sweeteners, bladder cancer in rats, oxalic acid. So all these are implicated. induced proliferation when administered after these initiators too. So they are not mutagenic but induce cell proliferation necessary for tumor growth. And polycyclic hydrocarbons, they are powerful carcinogens in and the powerful carcinogens in this group of compounds are 7,12 dimethyl um, benzatracin, and also 3,4 benzpyrene, 1,2,5,6 benzatracin 2 is also a very powerful carcinogen, and 3-methyl colantrin 2 is a powerful polycyclic hydrocarbon. And the greater DNA binding, the greater the carcinogenic potential. Hydrocarbons in cigarette smoking, cigarette smoke related to lung cancer is implicated over here. The predisposition to lung cancer may be related to the inducibility of the aryl hydrocarbon hydroxylase. Aromatic amines and azidides too potential carcinogens. Aniline dye workers in Germany in 1895. This carcinoma of bladder. The later on rubber and cable industry and manufacture of certain paints and pigments. There is textile dyeing, lab work, and also 2 naphthylamine and benzidine. So one thing that you have to realize is that hydroxylation in liver amino naphthol detox as glucuronide amino naphthol release in the bladder by beta glucuronase in the urothelium could lead to the cancer. So there's injection of the beta, and then activation in the liver, the tumor occurs in the bladder, and there's remote carcinogenesis or even metastasis could occur. Alright, so another group that we can look at is the nitrosamines and the nitrosamines. Okay, the nitrosamines are remote carcinogens, and they are found in food preservatives and activated into alkylating agents, and can be formed in GIT, like the nitrites, nitrous acid plus the amines. And the nitrites present in pickled, salted, smoked foods, and nitrosamides do not require enzymatic activation, like the ethyl nitrosuria. So now you get the difference between the nitrosamides and nitrosamines, which are the remote carcinogens requiring enzymatic activation. So for direct acting alkylating agents, they can bind to DNA directly, like mustard gas, prolactone, cyclophosphamide, melphalan, busulfan. Yeah, so their interaction with DNA is useful as anti-tumor agents, but also increases the risk of neoplasms like leukemias and lymphomas. Well, naturally occurring or occupational carcinogens, aflatoxin A flavus produces potent mutation at colon 249 of the p53 gene, leading to hepatocellular carcinoma. Asbestos could lead to mesothelioma, affecting the pleura and the peritoneum, even bronchogenic carcinoma and GIT carcinomas. And for arsenic, could lead to carcinoma of the skin and lung cancer. For nickel, carcinoma of the lungs, paranasal cyanosis. And for benzene, leukemias, vinyl chloride, angiocarcinoma of the liver. For hard wood dust, there is adenocarcinoma of paranasal sinuses, and also basically metal ether small cell carcinoma of the lungs could occur. For chromium could lead to carcinoma of the lungs. Right, so hormones like human breast cancer, whether late early menarche, late menopause, um, um, hormonal influence could lead to that, and carcinoma of the endometrium due to estrogenic effects, and other carcinomas like that of the prostate due to testosterone production too. Right, so for physical carcinogens, we have ultraviolet irradiation, basal cell carcinomas, and squamous cell carcinomas, even melanomas. Too, there's abnormal timing dimers in DNA of epidermal cells, and lack of efficient excision repair of abnormal DNA. There's ionizing radiation, there's free radical damage to target cell genome, and also ionizing radiation includes alpha beta particles, protons, neutrons, and electromagnetic waves, also x-rays and gamma rays. For foreign materials, there are certain plastics like connective tissue tumors. Ultraviolet light causes cancers of the skin. For example, squamous cell, basal cell, and melanomas. The degree of risk depends on the type, intensity of exposure, and protective mantle of skin. And high risk is in white skin, which bends easily but does not tan in sunlight. So there are three types of UV light: UVA, UVB, UVC. UVA is around 320 to 400 nanometers, UVB 280 to 320 nanometers, and then UVC 200 to 280 nm. So it is the UVB which is most associated with cutaneous carcinomas, and UVC is filtered by the ozone layer. Ionizing radiation effects directly related to the effects are directly related to the energy levels, and they cause double strand DNA damage. So the higher the energy, the shorter the wavelength radiation, which causes more damage. So early workers in X-ray developed skin cancer. Atomic bomb survivors in Japan had leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia with about 7 years latency, and they later developed carcinoma of the breast, colon cancer, and thyroid and lung tumors too. Alright, so for viral microbial carcinogenesis, there are two main groups of biologic agents: the oncogenic viruses, which could be DNA or RNA, bacteria like Helicobacter pylori, and also DNA oncogenic viruses, which integrate and form stable associations with host cell genome. Are four major like these four DNA viruses known to cause human tumors, like human papillomavirus, Epstein-Barr virus, human herpes virus 8, HHV8, and Kaposi sarcoma virus, and hepatitis B. Alright, so we'll continue with the next section.